there's a lot of like different artists, filmmakers. How can you stand out? And I think like, I don't know if you guys agree, but that's the best way to stand out. It's like
authenticity.
Exactly.
Your authenticity. For sure. That's what people are looking for. Your story.
It's the hard part, really, like to really kind of grab what you are, what you lived, and put it out there.
Yeah.
Start?
Yeah.
Start. So.
Alright,
think we have enough claps.
Exactly. So welcome to the first episode of Move Me. This is a concept that I created because I think like when you have conversations with interesting individuals, I get moved and I get inspired and I get motivated. So I just wanted to like invite you all here. I follow your content and you guys are super talented. So I felt like why not connect everyone in this area of like creation, right? Filmmakers, photographers, artists, and you know, talk about some interesting concepts. So first, thank you very much for being here. And just like before we dive into the other stuff, if you guys could like simply like, what's your name, what you do, where you're from, just so people can have an idea.
I guess I'll start. Everybody's looking at me like,
It's you. Don't be so colorful the next time.
Listen, my name is Nihat Mudler. I'm 23 years old and I'm a videographer. Also a social media like marketing strategist, and also now kind of brand ambassador and stuff for this sunglass company. And yeah, I make films, mostly Instagram reels. I started making films in like 2019, doing like some surf photography. Actually I lied, before that I did anime AMVs, so I used to take animes and then mash them up and then make a video out of it. And now I'm doing basically videography full time.
Nice.
So I'm Pedro, I'm 20 years old. I'm a photographer since, I would say, 5 years. I used to shoot more concentrated in analog photography, helping to develop the community in Portugal, in Lisbon. I'm actually from Brazil, but since 5 years I moved to Portugal. And in the last year, I produced a documentary about analog photography and how the social media and all the things that you work basically, some of the things, help to grow the analog photography and the young people as well, of course. And yeah, some photography development, some photography directions and things around this.
Nice.
Cool. I'm James Stroud, Streezy. I'm a multidisciplinary artist from South Africa. I have a bit of a film background as well. I started as a location scout. I started my own film company called Sublime Film, which is still going in Johannesburg. Then in lockdown I went into full art and I opened a studio in Victoria Yards in Johannesburg, which was good, successful, and also in Cape Town I had a studio, and now I've moved to Portugal. So yeah,
Nice.
mainly doing drawing and sculpture. Streezy is kind of like a street art brand that I've created, which is more like street art, spray paint and drawing, fast-paced stuff. And then James Stroud's like my traditional like sculpture and fine art brand. Yeah.
My name is Eduardo Vento, videographer, and my focus nowadays is mainly on water cinematography. I've came back from my background is focused on commercials and any content related to documentaries and storytelling, so that's like where I came from. And yeah, nowadays generally like focus in sports in general, but surf I'd say is really the topic, and when it comes to film it from inside the water is really where I belong, I would say. So yeah.
Hi, I'm João Veloso, and first of all, thank you, João, for inviting me and us to be here. I'm a cinematographer. I'm 25 years old, and I started filming when I was 17. So I was thinking about becoming a mechanical engineer, and when I entered the university, I was like, no, that's not the thing that I want to do for the rest of my life. And I thought, what can it be, and I went to cinema. And yes, I start, as most of you probably, if you're related with surfing, I started filming surfing and bodyboarding because I'm a bodyboarder myself. And then it just started growing, and at some point I just became and now that's what I am now, a cinematographer and also a camera assistant. And yeah, that's it. Usually I do commercials. I just shot now a long form and some short movies as well. Yeah, I'm just starting now to be a real cinematographer. I have a lot to learn, but yeah, that's the path.
Nice. Yeah. I want to like start diving like in that decision making of what to do with your life. You always say like you guys working with something you guys love, right? Yeah. What do you think makes so special the thing you're doing, like, and drives you, like, motivates you to do every day?
I mean, I think for me, was something very. I think when it's something that I really love, it's something that comes very natural for you as well.
Okay.
We have some things like I want to be a mechanical, but then no, I don't want to be anymore. I hate that. I don't want to do what I love. So I think when it's something that I really love, comes really natural, and you enjoy and you continue to love your job that you're doing. But at the same time, it's just a special topic in this. It's very interesting as we, for example, we work with this in the same market basically, and it's very difficult to separate the love of enjoying doing your job, and when you have the deadlines, then you start to hate your job for some seconds or for something like this.
Yeah.
And so it was a very big gap in my ideas how to balance this pressure, at the same time continue to love the things that I do. So something like this.
Yeah, for me it's like I knew what I really liked before, which is like a very big thing that I live by, is being joyfully present, and being in the moment. So my love for nature, the environment, and then previous life experiences like that made me much more grateful of like the life that we live and stuff like that. So I then was like, okay, why don't I make films about joyful presence? And so then any type of filming, any sort of client that I get, I make sure that I'm filming from the perspective of joyful presence, me being joyfully present, because sometimes, like I said, we can get caught up in this stuff of like producing something. So I got to be joyfully present producing it. Hopefully the cinematography represents somebody being joyfully present, and then inspires somebody else also to be joyfully present. So it kind of, that's what makes me tick in terms of like, as long as I work in that alignment, I don't mind making any reels and stuff like that.
I love how you like connect a concept and your personality to any work you do, because like you said, we all gonna have like I'm not English, not my first language. You guys get it. Yeah. But I think like it's important like connecting your personality and having fun in the process, right?
Excellent.
And like we're in an environment right now that is a school. I'm 16 now, and every time I talk to my friends, this is like a constant like kind of pressure, like what are you gonna do with your life, what job you want to do, and like most of the times when I talk with my friends, everyone is undecided, kind of like lost. What am I going to do after high school? What do you guys like think it's the best advice to someone in my age in that position?
I would say that it's just chill, man. You don't need to rush. For me, it was complicated because I'm sorry.
No.
When I was 18 and I had to decide my path,
Yeah.
where should I go to the university? My parents were like, what are you going to do? And I was like following the path of my friends, like, okay, everyone is going to engineer, so I'm going to engineer. And I was really good at math, so let's go. But I don't think it's something that you have to rush. You just have to feel it, because you don't really need to go to the university. It's something that the society tells you, but it's not true. Most of the filmmakers that I know, they don't have the bachelors. They are architects. They are painters. And, it just depends. You just need to feel it, and especially if you're in the arts world, you don't really need a degree. You just have to have culture. You have to study. Yeah, but most of the time it's just by yourself. It's like I don't really feel that you have to rush to go to the university and to follow a path. You just need to feel what you want to do, and if you want to take a gap year to travel and to know more about yourself, that's the thing that I really think it's important. It's to know yourself and to know what you really like to do. Not working, just what are you? And I think that's the best advice that I would give to myself when I was 16 years old.
It's not worrying about what people think is like the big thing, and the older I get, the less I do, and the more free I like. Art's like where I wanted to get to, but I was always too scared. Also, like South Africa, it's also like I find Portugal's a lot. It's not always, but a lot more like accepting of the creative and the art side. I found in South Africa, it's a bit of like it's almost like you're embarrassed, or like you're scared to tell people you want to be an artist or a creative. And that's the problem also with your parents, is you often have to not listen to your parents. Like you have to, you can nod and pretend you are, but you don't have to listen to what they think. It's your heart, your path, and as you said, take your time, slowly feel it out. Try as many things as you can, especially like in your 18 to like 25.
You think that's the best way to
try as many things, go as many, and help as many different people in different aspects. Try like do free work for different creatives to see what it's like. You like that time. I went through like it's your mental health goes through like things, because people are all like judging you, asking, look what he's doing, what is he doing, like. But I'm so happy I tried all these different things in that time. It's trying as many things as you can, and patience, and not worrying what other people think. And people talk, like people judge you for everything. So if you do good, like that's a funny thing, I get judged for more of the good, healthier things I've chosen than like the bad things. Like people are always judging you, just follow your path and just slowly go up the hill.
I think that's the best way to like. That's the thing. How can you find your passion? I think like sometimes we're too like, oh, am I gonna like this, or am I gonna like that other thing? I think like you said, the best way to really like find your passion is trying things out. And I think like that's how I discovered the thing I love, was going out and trying, and you're gonna like some things and not gonna like other things, but all just like a learning experience. So I think that's the best, advice. And also like you said, learning about yourself and knowing yourself. I think we're too focused maybe in like traditional schools on academics, and we don't give space to like get to know about us. I think like that's the most important part.
One funny thing was the first day that I entered my class in the University of Cinema. One of my teachers told us, first of all, I'm super happy that you're here, because your parents didn't tell you to come to this course. That's true. That's really true. And that's one good thing about arts. That everyone that is in that course, it's because he really likes it, or at least he wants to try it.
And I think something that I can share with you is like, on my situation, like video for me was something that developed since I was pretty young. It was just, I don't know, a thing that I did it for fun. Like I just like grabbing a camera. I think most of you guys maybe relate to this, like in a certain moment, like just shooting your friends doing something, or a vacation or something like that. And then slowly through life, like when I was I also went through university, but even before that, I think I realized that was the fun path that I had. Like a thing that I really like above anything else. Like I also really loved surfing. But for me, like surfing was still too much of a hobby, but it was there. So I took video as I thought like, okay, I would like to do something with this and develop, because it's something that I really like, and it just kind of grew up. And then with that, like focusing on that, like with time, joining the passion of surfing, like, because it's something that I do also. Like it was way later, but it took me a lot of experience. So like what they're saying, like I traveled, I went to different jobs. I never kind of said no to opportunities that I thought that was good to just literally give it a try.
Yeah.
Literally, and sometimes, and a lot of times, you fail through the process
Yeah.
and you make mistakes and everything. And I think these are the moments that you really learn.
Yeah.
And not being afraid of this is really
Yeah.
the path to kind of figure it out. Because if you're just trying to go in one way and just lock yourself and try to what people say and kind of gets in your head, it will always have ups and downs. But again, I think in my path, like just going from video, then joining surf like years after, really give me that click nowadays of, okay, I took this path of following something that I kind of thought it was cool,
Yeah.
realized that through the process was a nice way, and then joining surf was really the click of, okay, now I'm gonna join something that I'm gonna shoot something that I really like, and this connection for me was really when it clicked. Like, and still it's a process because,
Yeah, exactly.
as you know, like today I almost didn't came because it's so imprecise. Like you're in my area, you're so connected to the sea, and you know it well. You like the sea, so and you as well. Like it's something that is so unstable, and I think I can really relate that with life. You know, it's just not knowing what you're gonna get is.
And I think like we don't need to I want to be in that position in 5 years. I think like you said, it's a learning process, and you guys are way more experienced than I, but I'm sure you guys are still in the learning process and always will be. So, and I love the way you were not sure the definition of what you wanted to do, but in that process you connected things you loved. And I think when you connect things you love, your work is just way more powerful.
Yeah.
And I love the thing you said about having fun. And that's, I think, at the end of the day, what truly matters, doing what you love. Obviously there's gonna be obligations, and that's life, right?
Exactly.
But I think and the thing you guys have, again, more experience than me, but after 4 years and last month, I felt so stuck because I kind of lost that fun part of doing videos, just getting a camera and having fun. And that's really because I think so, because the obligation that we build with social media of having to be inconsistent, having to do this type of work so you can get more views. I wanted to let's talk about that, if you guys ever deal with that.
I just have one stuff to add to the last topic about the what you have in mind to do after school. Yeah. I think one of the best things that I did, I'm still kind of doing, but I would say the best choices that I made was to make a gap year, for example. And in our area, it's all about the network. So most of the people that you can get connected, most of the people that you can learn with them, even you were saying about I think someone of you was saying about the free works that you do as well. As well, in your area is all about the portfolio as well, and how you show your work. So if you're still in this position of, I don't know what I want to do, and I want to search for new experiences and new jobs, even if they don't pay, it's already a new experience, it's already something for a portfolio, it's already connections with someone that kind of connects you with another one, and you learn with this chain that you construct. And then in the end, or if you don't have an end, I don't know what I'm doing, what I'm supposed to do next year, for example. Maybe I just do something completely different, I don't know. But it's still learning with this process of connecting with people, connecting with different stuffs and everything like this. So
I think summing up is trying things out, giving space, for example with that gap year.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day trying to have fun.
Yeah,
sure.
Sorry, I just want to add one more thing to that, because sometimes we think we're doing one thing and then we change and we think it's bad, right? It's we've changed, but there's actually so much value of let's say just videography. There's so much you learn in videography about storytelling, narrative, target markets and everything like that, and that can totally change into another career if you wanted to, You've got a completely different value. So I was doing videography and then all of a sudden I started doing marketing for my dad's company, and it ended up being effective because I did so much videography and social media and stuff before. So all these skills, no matter what you do, even if you don't like videography after a while, the skill you'll be able to translate to something else.
And it's still sometimes when you can connect the other things that you love. For example, I'm a techno DJ, and it's completely different than photography. But in the same time, for example, with my collective, with the photography and kind of arts collective at the same time, we like to combine those things. So how we can combine, I don't know, techno with photography?
And you can.
No.
I'm really into it. So.
I know. I'm saying the positivity way, like how we can combine, like thinking like a brainstorm. How we can do that? We have a lot of ways to do that. So it's combining the things that you still have passions with another things, and then construct for something that even more, like this.
It's like how you build your creative language. You try all these different things and you take the different aspects you like from all these things and you build your own voice, your own language.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty, like I've been drone, I also do some stuff with DJing. It's all like, it's now going into like animation, but I'm thinking of all these different, it's like I'm doing drone shots, animation wise. And like, it's all, and there's the sculptural stuff, there's 3D, it's all taking all these different things and trying to make your own voice is the thing.
That's totally you. Like you just from the way you've grown. That's crazy.
And I think like that's what makes you unique in this area. Like sometimes like people ask me what I want to do. I cannot like define the position I want to be, because every like single time I try something out, like you guys said, you get something from it. But I think like that, and I even like wrote it here to talk about it. Like how can you stand out? Like I think like every area has its crowded, and there's a lot of like different artists, filmmakers. How can you stand out? And I think like, I don't know if you guys agree, but that's the best way to stand out. It's like
authenticity.
Exactly.
Your authenticity. For sure. That's what people are looking for. Your story.
It's the hard part, really, like to really kind of grab what you are, what you lived, and put it out there in this expression of art and the expression of what you've seen or what you know through what you've seen, like an experience. So that's, I think, the hard part, and that's a little bit scary sometimes because you don't know. That's the thing, you don't know what people are going to react and how people are going to think. But when you kind of find ways to do it, is. I was just going to say in regards to your question, like in regards to obligation, right? That was what you wanted to know, and I think in regards to obligation in work and in general, like I think this feeling comes from when you try to or be someone that you kind of see, like this guy, there's a cool thing, and you try to just go that way and kind of forget yourself, and it just starts to be kind of like an obligation. Or really when you just grab one thing that maybe worked out on one time, or it's, let's say, trendy, and you just follow that, like, and that could be like, like this feeling of obligation. I think the way to kind of reverse it or try to at least refresh it is really to, if it's starting to go that way, is to just try and go a little bit on the side. Let's give you an example. For myself, I never tried to be in front of the camera, and I gave the opportunities recently to try to go in front of the camera and talk about myself, do this kind of stuff. I'm not.
Was
really
it the documentary about you and your dad?
Exactly.
I saw that. That was so good.
This one was
so
really an opportunity that I had. A friend of mine that I met throughout my time in England, he came over to Portugal once to visit me, and then he came to my family house, get to know the relationship that I had with my dad, and he was like, okay, I'm coming down to shoot and tell your story, like with your dad, because just to explain also a little bit of his backdrop, he lost his dad while he was away. And he didn't really had a good connection with his dad, like he needed to work it out, like, and he was just away, and then his dad passed off, and he could never really reconnect. So when he saw that, like with my dad, he was like, I'm gonna tell your story. And for me as a filmmaker, I was like, nah, there's no chance. I'm not gonna be in front of the camera. You can do about my dad, but I will. And then I started to open myself, and I was like, no, this is really an opportunity to see how is it to be in front of the camera, learn with the guy that I worked with a lot, but also to be in front and be directed. And that was really a mind opener for me, and opened so many paths, because that film, it was so original. He managed to really capture like what we were and where we are still, like, and it's just I'm how do you say, like, I'm suspicious to talk about it, but
Yeah.
it is like it's just kind of like giving opportunities to shift things as well.
Exactly.
It opens paths like a lot.
I think that's super important to sometimes be not just on the other side of the camera, but be on other departments. Because then most of the part of this job is communicate with other people, especially when you're working on big productions. So I think it's really important to feel what it is to be on the other side and to understand what the other person wants. And so I think it's really important. I've never been on the front of the camera, and I think for me it's super scary, I would say.
It is scary.
But I think it's super important as well, especially when you imagine you're shooting a fashion film or something. You really need to communicate with with the talents.
Understand the demand that it is there.
And this is super important because then
And once you experience that position of being in front of the camera, and now after that, when you're behind the camera, you can probably like capture way more, way better because you know what's being like in that position.
I think one of the most important things in direct someone is to exactly understand why you're directing or who are you directing, and it's not just like do this or do that, because at the same time it's a person there, is a human and have feelings and have everything. Okay, it's an actor. Let's suppose that he's an actor or a model or whatever. You still needs to mind with this psychological stuff that I mean you need to have this connection and understand the other side. So it's a very cool way to understand and I mean improve yourself as well in this direction.
it's not easy, the communication between filmmakers and also talents like models or actors.
Respect to all the models out there, dude.
No,
I could not do that, bro.
It's so nice when you have a model who like works, like you arrive, and the model knows, it's a complete night and day. You get like your friend who's like attractive to try and do this, and then you have a model. It's just, you can just see. Like,
you realize
this is a professional. She works it like
she knows
he or she works it, but it's
when you're working with a real model, sometimes the finger just
it's like a flow state. You're like creative, and she's in
she
her,
looks
like,
at you, and it's just that look. It's like,
it's already.
You get so focused on the camera, so quiet sometimes that you even forget because they're doing the job so well. You're just just keep on going, keep on going.
That's true.
Jean mentioned something about fear and like going towards your fear, and I found that in my creative path. It's like the things you're almost scared of most to try, you should just try, because those are like, there's a reason why you like, it's like, I even got like a little like, it's like, those are the things you need to try, like, and that, like, I've almost like slowly unloaded, like, I wanted to do like performance art and like acting, and like, so I like went into like filmmaking, because I didn't have the confidence to like do that, and I'm slowly like, I've almost gone like backwards, like I've learned how, like, but it's, as soon as, and also with like sculpture, it's something like, it's just something I knew I could do and wanted to do. But then last year I was literally like, I'm gonna do a bronze sculpture. And just, and it was terrifying, but it was just amazing, like, it's amazing to
when you manage to
see that you managed to be there.
That's true.
I love that idea. I just did like a short film about seeking discomfort, and I think like that's a really interesting topic, and like it's basically like when you're in your comfort zone, everything like it's okay, but you're not really growing. You're always doing the same thing. And it's always scary to take that step to be in front of the camera or whatever situation you guys are in life. But I think like it's only by taking that step that you grow, and like I really don't get in those cases get attached with the result, right? For example, I was like kind of like anxious a bit on doing this podcast, normal, because 5 guests, how am I going to take this? Is it gonna work or not gonna work? But based on my past experiences, I learned that like either way the result of this, I'm gonna learn and I'm gonna get better. So I think like taking that step and approaching comfort, seeking discomfort, I think it's really important.
It is really like it's where you really learn. Like I think, like Velas was saying, like when you travel, when you get to know other people, when you just come for a podcast, like, and you see other people, like, it's just yeah, just seeking these opportunities to go out, which you learn. Like I think in my case, like the moment that I most feel it is really when I go inside like a strong sea, like something that I think always like, all right, I haven't done this before. Like this is gonna be scary. Like I don't know how is this gonna work out. There's normally not much help of getting out and in. I have to do it by my own. And you have to be fully on yourself. In my case, I have to go and commit, and you understand, like being in the sea, like is you're on your own kind of thing. And when you can kind of step out of your comfort zone and just commit to it, like the outcome when you just realize. In my case, sometimes I survive. It's like you come outside, it's like wow, like it's amazing. Even if I didn't get the craziest shot or things didn't went as good as just the stepping in, trying it. Coming out is
allowing yourself to the opportunity to fail. Like you're allowing yourself to fail. You try this thing. It's your first time. You're gonna be bad, but you failed. It wasn't that bad to fail. It comes back to that worrying what people think. It's just let yourself fail.
That's when you learn.
100%.
It's the best teacher is failure.
For sure.
By far, the best teacher is failure.
For sure. But also this about the fear, and I think it's also important to you have fear, but you also know that you're prepared to this.
Yes. It's not go.
When you go to big waves and you know that you're not prepared.
There is.
You also need to know that I'm super scared. I know that this can fail, but at least I'm prepared.
You know your limits, and I train a lot. Of course, like there's always an important thing to address. Like, every time I went to these things, I had my preparations, like trainings of apnea. I had my surfing sessions. I, went with the people that I trust. Blah blah. There's a lot of things that you put it on the way. Just commitment and just.
And it gives you a little bit of comfort.
100%.
Comfort in the discomfort.
I think a very big example for me of failure a lot for a long time and to get used to was very difficult is simply the things that I do right now. It's analog photography. In the beginning, I'm not saying about put a roll in the camera and shoot. Of course, that's another stuff. But when you start to talk about developing and enlarging the pictures and do all these things, especially more handmade stuff, I have to say that my first 5 rolls that I developed was completely trash. It was just trash. But I mean, I will not learn if I don't make this trash,
Exactly.
And since today, I shoot for brands, for something like this, but you are always in the position of doing something trash. So it's always understandable. It's always okay if you do something wrong in this way. Of course, you have a compromise with someone, you have a compromise with the job, and of course you need to be prepared. So it's not just going there and doing something that you don't know and let's see. Of course in my case I always have a backup for that, but at the same time I learn a lot with doing wrong, with especially analog photography, because it's everything made it to be wrong in all the directions. Analog photography is like a chain, so if you start buying the wrong ISO in the roll, you already fucked up everything. Or if you put the roll wrong in the camera, you already fucked up everything. If you start to develop with a different temperature of different times, I already fucked up everything. So it's a big chain that you have a lot of ways to mess up, but then the best feeling of that is that we complete all this chain and everything is connected, and in the end you have the job that you loved. So it's the same feeling of the waves. I did this strong motion, I did this strong stuff, and it was like, wow, it's a lot of adrenaline from something very small for all the people, but for us it's like jumping as a skydiving, I have to say.
And I think in my case, sharing about failure, one of the films that I would say had most success from my side is called Fail, and it's literally during COVID time, on the lockdown. I had this idea of grabbing all the footage that in surfing, surfers normally say, no, I don't like this shot because there's a water drop, or I fail, literally I fall down and everything. And I had this idea to join these images, which were literally on the box and they were just thrown away. I didn't know what to do. And I grabbed this and said, okay, this is going to be my topic. This is going to be like what I'm going to try to bring a message. And I then used Alan Watts, which is a philosopher that I really like. I don't know if you guys heard about him. Like for me, this guy is a reference when it comes to just life ideas and everything. And I just used him as a main voiceover, talking about mistakes and failing and everything. If you have a chance, have a look, because it really, I think, addresses this that we're saying, that it's the path to achievement and success. It is this, constant mistaking, failing, and not knowing. Like it's really the way. Nice. And it was fun to see how people reacted to the film. I didn't know that it was gonna have that impact, and nowadays, like, it's been through some festivals. And everyone that watches, takes different messages, not just that, but they feel different things. So, and this was really like, I just believed that I was gonna go against something which was like, okay, this is content to the trash. I was like, no, they're gonna use this and try to tell something. So,
I think it's a good message for today's society, especially social media, because when you open social media, everything is perfect, everyone is happy, and people really connects to these things, because life is not really everything happy and everything perfect. So everyone fails every day. So I think people like it just because it's real.
It shows the reality, like, behind some things that sometimes, like you said, it's hidden on Instagram and everything. Like, we just show what's in that little box, in that perfect moment, on that nice view, and just nothing else. And it's good to show.
And that's one thing I like about analog photography. It's because when you shoot digital, you just find the perfect moment between 1,000 photos. When you shoot analog, it's that photo. If your eyes are closed, man, they're closed.
Exactly. And it's funny stuff that you can still, like, as artists, we have this, and when we have the knowledge, you can still play with this. I would say, like, my position as the photography and analog, you can play with these mistakes. So as you did, you play with your mistakes, you did another stuff. And in photography as well, so nothing is, it's going to the trash, but you can, like, recycle this stuff that you did the mistake. Of course, in this shot that the guy was with the eyes closed, your dream is that the guy have the eyes open, of course. But you can still do something. I mean,
I'm saying this if it's not for a campaign. If it's just for you, it's the moment. It's the moment. It happened.
No, definitely.
And I think for me, it's a really big part of my life to shoot analog, because I think it's really important as a cinematographer to just understand the light and just carry a camera with me wherever I go and just shoot and play with lights and everything. I think for me, it's the best.
Thinking about the moment, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because you just have one shot. Yeah, you can have 2 or 3, but you're gonna spend a lot of money on it.
Perfectionism is something that, like, I struggled a lot with earlier on, which I find it's also with clients. Like, I'd want everything, especially with, like, video stuff. I'd want everything to be, like, perfect video and, like, photograph stuff. I'd want it to be perfect. Almost to the point where I wouldn't want to show them something that I didn't think was perfect. But often done is better than you can just do it. Also, as creatives, we also, it's so subjective, and you also go so detailed, like, you get so obsessed with your thing. Often a lot of your clients don't even see with the same, they don't even, you'll be surprised at how stupid a lot of your clients are. Actually, like perfectionism, like, just do, and rather get it done, and worry less about perfectionism.
It's tough.
But it's funny stuff with, like, stuff I used to do with design, mainly with graphic design is where I used to do this the most. Is with the client, like, for, like, a logo or something like that, I'd do, like, four different logos. 2 of them would be, like, the ones I'd be actually working on, but 2 would be would be bad. Like, I didn't want them to choose these. I'd make it in, like, 5 minutes, and, like, often the worst one was chosen by the client. So, like, perfection. It's done is better than perfect as well.
Mhm.
Worry, it's
Just do it, yeah.
also with class, with time, with deadlines, and like, just get it done. Like, to worry about that 90. Look, it depends on what you're doing always. It depends on the client. If it's like a high fashion, it just depends. But perfectionism, often just get it done.
And it's changing a lot, I think, with the social media and everything. This is really shifting a lot. In internet in general, I think people are a little bit less obsessive about the quality and the details, which is kind of sad somehow for us. We like to have this kind of thing, but it's good to shift it and to sometimes just do it, because that's somehow like how you can achieve some like things fast and with good quality. And in regards to your expression, if you're, I would say, confident on yourself, you just go there and do it.
And I feel that's when you like feel stuck, like with perfection, like you feel stuck because, okay, this is not perfect, what am I supposed to do? I think consistency brings motivation, to be honest. You know? So, and we just talked about so many things here. I don't even know like where to go next, but I really like wanted to talk about this, that I even like noted, about balancing consumption and creation. So we're in a world that like there's so much consumption, like social media, TV, everything. And I wanted to like ask you guys how much has consumption has to do with you improving creativity, and if you guys think we should maximize or minimize consumption to be more creative.
It's a nice topic.
It's a deep one.
But maybe, I mean, I can develop something with that. It's still hard, but I think for me, my biggest motivation and my biggest creativity comes from consumption, but from a balanced consumption and from people that I mean, that means that I choose to have consumption just for good people, but it means that I kind of filter that for something that I really like. So I would say more in the photography way. I used to love to go to galleries, to random galleries, no matter where, like no matter if the, I don't know, the gallery is in Max or is the gallery photography exposition, let's say, or I don't know, in the Contemporary Museum or the small gallery in Lisbon. Don't care. It's all about you have this contact with these things, and just the small stuff, you still have the contact with the people that is there and things like that. But in the cinema area, I used to take a lot of things from, of course, films, watching new stuff, watching new people doing stuff, but then we struggle with the social media hard consumption and like very punch you with a lot of stuff in your day.
Because
and like
with social media controls what you consume.
Yeah,
You cannot like, I love the way you said like, okay, consumption is really important to me, but I kind of like control what I want to consume.
Yeah.
So I want to go to this art gallery, I want to watch this film. Like, depending just on social media, you kind of control, because you don't really have control on what you consume.
Yeah, of course, of course.
You can't. So that's where you can kind of get the algorithms to work for you. Like if it's something like towards your art, like if you're looking at like film, for example, then like mainly look at like film stuff. Like as soon as it's something not, if it's Kardashian, you completely swipe it quickly. Then your algorithm starts to build your. But that's where you got to be. If you're just looking at girls twerking, then you're like you got to be strict with your own viewing, and it's a hard. Yeah, it might be.
Just stop making films about girls twerking.
Yeah.
That's funny. The other day I was with a friend of mine who was like, man, when I click on the search folder, I just have girls showing, and I was like, hey, let me see what happens. And mine was just cameras. Gear.
Yeah.
But talking about this topic, I think we're living in a time that is really complicated to just focus on nice content, just because you have a lot of content.
And usually the like most random and stupid content get the most.
That's true. Sometimes I'm just stuck on a cooking video, and I'm watching it. But what I think is, I used to work with a really well-known director here in Portugal that has
almost 90 years old, and he was telling me, "Hey man, when I was your age, I went to Paris and I just watched all the classics and all the movies and everything." And I was like, yeah, but for me, it's completely different because I have the opportunity to see them. I don't need to go to Paris, but sometimes I don't watch them.
Yeah,
because you have so
You're like
many stuff.
numb on the.
Yeah, we have access to everything. So at some point, you just block. It's like
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
You really need to be committed
Yeah.
to focus on that thing and to watch everything you want. Otherwise, if you're just searching for it, and sometimes you just lose it. And
And sometimes you get a bit like, I have a very contact love with black and white in general, so I normally shoot in black and white. And so that affects a bit my cinematography way as well, because I started to look just for black and white movies, so even new black movies and things like this. So in some point I just realized, fuck, I'm just basically watching black and white stuff, and like I still have another, like the whole platform to another options to see, but like I was really into like, okay, for example, like, you know the film Cold War, the new one from 2018, 19, I think so. It's from a Polish cinematographer, a director. It's very beautiful. Actually, I recommend a lot.
it's Cold War.
Cold War. Yeah, it's a romance story, but it's like those. I mean, I really love this movie, so I do like a fan here. It's like 4:3 black and white, and like each shot is a perfect frame, and like it's something really important for me. And I mean, I think I watched this film like 5 times, and these 5 times I have the opportunity to watch another like 1 million films that I have. I don't know, Netflix, filming, Amazon, I don't know. But I was always really stuck in this. I want to see the same thing all the time. So.
But I think it's important. I also
It's
know
important,
it. Yeah,
definitely,
there are films that
definitely.
I've already watched like 6, 7 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I really, it's not about the story. Sometimes it's just about that.
The small
Yeah, that little thing.
Yeah.
I think it's
Especially in this film, it's a combination of like the cinematography itself is so beautiful. In the same time, the film set and all the places are so beautiful. But if you look from the production side or the post-production side, is very simple. Not saying that it's simple to do, but very simple compared to other films that we watch, and it's like, wow, look at that. So he combines perfectly the image with the sound and everything, so mix it together. Sorry, I'm a big fan of that. I'm putting that more in the other level, but yeah, I really love this kind of, for example, Lion as well. I don't know if you know the film Lion.
Lying now.
It's a French movie from '97, Vincent Kassovitz. It's another black and white, but it's another film that gives me this feeling of, it reflects a lot in my job that I do right now. So maybe right now, maybe not next year, but like I would say something like this.
Yeah, especially music. Like I find music, the consumption of music affects my work so much. Like I love listening to music that can kind of take me to like a whole different place.
Mm-hmm.
So like even like minimal like electronic or like minimal tech or something like, or any type of music, even like Frank Ocean, stuff like that. The consumption of that affects my work so much. Where I'm like literally now actually considering even doing shoots with one earphone in and already know the song that I want to use, and then taking shots with that.
But you're really like, I'm gonna be honest, like since I've like saw your work, when it's okay, which song am I gonna use? Nayari always picks like the songs you pick for your videos are truly amazing.
Thanks so much.
It's so good.
But it's like the timing, you know. So like, okay, I want to have like a 2-second shot of this, and I know that's perfectly at that part of the song because there's a pause.
Yeah.
And it's like a mesmerizing pause, and I've already got that, and the mesmerizing shots. And it's like, okay, that's what I want.
Yeah.
So I think it's so important as well to like realize that what you consume is kind of reflects what you are.
It's inspiration.
Yeah. So it's like if you listen to that vibrational and frequency and stuff like that, you're going to be shooting stuff on that frequency as well.
Yeah.
If you're listening to a lot of hip hop rap, you're probably going to be taking cinematography to like a more like powerful, like a lot of big heavy sweeps and punch-ins or stuff like that. So that all affects you,
And it's interesting, this part of the music, because I used to do street photography and things like this, but more in the hobby way. Of course, sell pictures and things like that, but it's not for me. So one of the things that I really love to do is basically take my earphones and my camera, just put the loudest, I don't know, like industrial techno and something really harsh, and just walk around the streets, and like that affects directly the way that I shoot on the streets. So that affects directly the movements that I have, the scenes that I take, that I pay attention. It blocks me from, because one of the things about street photography is that you cannot be you cannot care about the people actually, and that's kind of not a super nice thing, but I mean it's the way how it is. So you cannot care if you shoot the person, if you take this person on the frame, and at the same time this person realize, but you need to pretend that you actually don't shoot them. You know, so it helps to just focus. Okay, I focus on the music and this bubble that I have in my head, and just go straight and don't look back.
What I think it's really important is to have the process of creation. I would say go to museums, watch movies, listen to music, or even just listening or seeing things that are not related to your profession. I was not the museum guy at all, until I reached the point that I knew it was important. For example, you can get reference for lights in paintings. You can get some kind of I would say inspiration in sculpture. It just depends. You can go to a rave and then you see someone dancing, and then you just imagine a storyline with that person. But it's just, I don't think there's a right path for creativity. You just need to live and be in a moment, and really think that, okay, this slide can give me an idea for a shot, or I think it's just random life.
Adding to that, like, and exactly with that, like, of you getting to experience a lot of things in general, like, I think art and creativity somehow, like, it is kind of stealing in a way. So it's kind of like, I like this, but I also like this, and I like this, so you have like 3 or 4 things that you've seen. It doesn't need to be art in specific, but you've seen like something on the street, or you've seen something on the video, then you heard the music, and then you say, wait, what if I kind of join these 3 things together and then just shoot my own thing on this video? And then you just combine this, and that's how I see creativity, and the struggle to reach it and to kind of get into the process of creating is to really have the time to do these things, because a lot of times you get carried by things in life, right? Your problems, or you're just tired or whatever, like, and you cannot reach this, and it just becomes frustrating, because then you're like trying to get creative and and it's not something that you have to kind of try, it's something that it has to kind of go right and just flow with. So I would say is that, like, you have to kind of do as much as it has a lifetime kind of experience thing, and then try to replicate the things that you like and that you've seen that are interesting and that relate to you, and put it on your work when it comes.
And I like that idea of like flowing. The thing that sometimes blocks me from creativity is I get all this inspiration, but I overthink about how the result is gonna be. I feel like sometimes when you like feel inspired to create something, the important thing is just to go out and create, and don't get too attached again to the result. But I think like it's really important, like go with the flow and not like necessarily overthinking if, oh, is this like really gonna work, or what people are gonna think of me.
Am I gonna have the perfect shot? Am I gonna do this the correct way? Is this gonna happen this and that? If you kind of manage to, okay, I'll go and do it, the thing of doing it, just being there, and once you're there, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to start, because I think for all of us with art, is not something that, okay, I grab the camera and I start doing it. It's like, sometimes you go there and you have to do some, let's say, silly shots just to start doing it, and then suddenly you're like, okay, but this is cool, and that's when you get into the zone and things start to.
I think very interesting stuff with photo shoots, for example, is that I have this phrase that is I say for everyone, if it's I mean, a professional model, she or him already knows that, and we are talking about how models manage with this. But when it's someone that is starting or something like this, I always say the first shots in the photo shoot is the most cringe part of everything. For sure. It's like
the
cringe,
start,
like in another level. It's like
That's true.
you ask yourself a lot of times what I'm doing, or the person asks yourself what are you doing, but you cannot think on the end. Like it becomes with the flow. And one of the best photo shoots that I have made it until here. My expectations was zero. Basically, it was like this person is it's her first time doing something like that, and like she's not comfortable. But then, of course, with the time you learn how to put the model, the person comfortable in the situation, and then this cringe part, you start to see that it's natural. So you need to get out of this situation natural as well. And so it's a whole process of
The process
learning.
is the most important.
Definitely, but don't think in the end. That's. I mean, of course you have the
Yeah,
pressure of
yeah,
the companies, blah blah blah, all this stuff. But in the end, don't make any sense.
It's the balance.
It's the balance.
Something I found with my like creative process, and when I'm creating probably the best or the most productive, is when I'm also the most healthy. Like when if I treat it almost like a sport now, like if I'm eating healthily and I'm exercising, like I feel like I have more energy. I feel like I'm clearer. I can do more. So I think health and mental health and gut health. It's like I kind of just want to be in that space where getting into this flow state is the easiest possible. But saying that, also some of my lowest points, some of my darkest times in my life. So I've done these really good artworks. So it's like a balance. You take from those negative points, but to be healthy and be in a good space, I feel like you create more. Actually, I know there's always like this thing about the artist being like a tortured, suffering person. Like I disagree with that, but I know I have been to that. I can always go back to this. But you can always get to that place. But to be healthy, I think helps a lot.
Yeah, and I think also
for
like
me
also like your own meditation. I think like especially in the post-production part, it's like okay, like I'm at my desk, I feel like good. I've got the songs in my head. I've like looked after myself. I'm ready to like smash this now. It's like kind of like a meditation, and even before a shoot or probably before any art sculpture, like kind of get your mental right, and then you do the things that kind of trigger your creativeness. Like I don't know, I like having my mouse here. I like having my laptop up like this, seeing my screen like that, and then
Being present.
and then you just dial in. Yeah.
Sometimes taking off distractions, because distractions can be, you know.
Yeah.
The phone, the notifications.
Yeah,
It's impossible not
phones are the
just live
worst. Like just to focus on, like just
That's
keeps
true.
on
It's
breaking
hectic.
you like in many points. Like I think even just having conversations like this nowadays is something that nowadays it's so easy to just let me check. Just to see if someone else is talking to me or if my
that's true.
Instagram.
That's true.
It's good to kind of switch off somehow.
It can pull you, literally like one message can pull you out of like a flow state, like and then it can be like ruined almost.
Yeah.
Like one phone call with like that you didn't want, you have it, and now you're like, I can't. I need to go for a walk or something. 'Cause I can't.
But I don't know if I can add this to this topic, but don't you guys think? At least that's my idea, and that's what I really wanted to do. But if it was not just about my job, I would not have social media.
Yeah. I think that.
That's
It is a
such a.
I think it's
it is the
It's your
I'm
portfolio.
addicted to
It's your
it.
portfolio, and you have to be active, but you don't. It's such a hard.
And
I'm addicted to it.
Yeah,
I'm really addicted to it.
I'm 100%.
And I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with that, but I'm okay with telling that.
Then it comes to that point of consumption, which I think all of us here on this table have I would say, power really to express and do something different, and that could, offer something. And that's at least my motivation when I see these silly videos or things. Because I want to do something in the middle of this that stops people and offers something back. You know, and we have that, you know.
But it's hard. It is so hard to control because like I felt like so many times of like deleting out social media, but like in my age and like this generation, like you can. If you like cut off social media, you're kind of like excluded from everything.
You're off.
Exactly. You wouldn't even make sense.
Out of the planet.
Exactly.
One thing I find is that when I'm making the most stuff, I'm viewing the least stuff. So maybe the solution is just make more.
Exactly.
Make more shit and post more.
That's true.
Because then you're not looking. You're making. That's the solution is making.
I did a podcast with like, he's an influencer, like 150k followers, stuff like that, and you see like he's always posting stories. Yeah, and then like I said to him like, don't you get like tired of like social media and so much of that? And he like said something that like really caught me up. Is like, if you're on social media, okay, but I create so much more that I consume, and that's what I'm like. Okay, social media can be such a like powerful tool. But I think like instead of like just consuming so much, I think like also creating, it's part of the balance.
There's this constant need of posting. I don't post much, for example, on my social media. I don't have this urge to kind of always have something, because otherwise I think it kind of plays back of your head of just, you know, you need to post something. It's like I will try, when I post, I'll try to reach as much as I can. I'll try to just spread, because at the end what I like is to, you know, my work to be viewed and to have feedback and to have the interaction through it. I think that's also one of the reasons what I do is really to have reactions of people, and like not having this urge sometimes is good to kind of sometimes take care of yourself, your health and everything, like use this time to kind of detach. But at the end of the day, you will have to go there, you will have to understand what are the trends, you'll have to do stuff. So again, I think balance is really
balance. Also, I think like, I know it's also difficult because sometimes it's social media is something that you need to leverage as well, right? It's like in terms of like approaching people, like I've only got like 2,000 people, but like I need to like, sometimes I think, okay, what if that number was higher? So if I like post stuff that it feeds, then when I approach clients, they'll take me more seriously because they know that like, say 15k is like a serious thing.
And nowadays it's
100%.
It
literally
becomes,
people like don't. As soon as you show them and they see that, it's like, okay.
They
need that. That's the validation. That's the sad thing.
That's the
sad
challenge
thing is,
for us.
How do you guys deal with that? And stuff?
And exactly, and like having to follow trends to reach that point. That's the most annoying thing.
I never had that problem.
It's I've battled with it a bit, especially when I said I got like censored with that when I was doing like a lot of cannabis stuff. It is an ego thing. Like I had like all this engagement, all these people were watching like my stories and stuff. People like it was active. I was seeing like all this stuff, and then it went away. And then it's like I'm not like, and then it does make a difference to show like you have over 10. If you have 10,000 followers, it's a milestone. Like it's a okay. People like this. But I don't know. It's
tricky to navigate.
It's such a tricky. Also, one of the biggest things that like I realized I was showing too much. I was like living my own reality TV show. I was like showing everyone everything, my whole life. People knew where I was when, if I was in the city, they knew I was there. They knew what restaurant I was at. Like, so you also need some like mystery. And also you got to be careful with giving ideas and artworks that can just be taken. That's the one thing I've also learned is like Facebook and Instagram, if you post it there, they own that image. You got to be careful. Like if it's like a concept or an artwork you're working on, you got to be very careful to post it too soon, or you got to know you have like legally, you know, it's like copyright, or like you know. That's another thing which is as you say, steal. Like people steal. Like I've had things literally taken. They photoshopped literally another animal onto my thing and made posters and were handing out. So you gotta be. It's such a you gotta be.
I guess
careful with that, but it's.
You're always there's always the risk, and it's always gonna happen. Like a lot of times, I had also seen like some videos of ways like people just grabbing and putting and stock footage on stuff, and at the end you will have that risk. But I think looking at this outcome that we have, if we focus on the real connections, like real people, your clients, the people that you know, and not just on Instagram, because the viewers, the numbers, they help, and I totally, it's something that I work for as well, but not for, I think real people connections is really what it is.
It's the authenticity again.
Exactly.
If it's your,
I think for me the problem about social media is not about the pressure of creating and posting. It's more about the time that I spend on Instagram. Yeah. It's like I woke up and I'm just scrolling for 10 minutes. And I'm just watching shit most of the time.
It's
for me that's my problem, because I don't post a lot. Since a short time ago I just stopped posting photos of myself, or at least I post one or two. That's not a lot. It's not about me, it's about my job. So I'm not really at that thing. And imagine, that's one thing, I don't know if you notice it as well. For example, if I post a photo with my girlfriend, it has a lot of likes. But if I post something that I really like about photography, I have like 30 likes. And so I'm not really I don't feel that it affects me at all. But for me, the problem about social media is it's about the time that I just scroll.
It is.
But I find that, like, for example, let's say like girls or something like that. Like maybe I need to start filming more girls, and then I get.
That's the problem. That's when you change your authenticity to go to the light.
Really dangerous.
And that's something. Do you guys use TikTok?
Yeah, I haven't. So like that's the one thing with TikTok and Instagram. I find Instagram is like, it's like everything's beautiful, and it's like trying to show like this amazing life and these amazing times and how wealthy you are, and like everything's all shiny and like Kardashian.
Look at my
and then I find TikTok is like more for the creator, and there's more respect towards the creators, and like with pure art. I know like if I post a drawing on Instagram, it doesn't get that many likes, but if I post it on TikTok, it gets a lot. But if I post a picture of just a selfie, it gets on Instagram, it gets more than like an artwork. So like it's like Instagram's like it's like a Kardashianized world, and then TikTok's like a creator world. But they I don't know.
I didn't have that idea at all.
I think was I got something really, like I started to use TikTok as I don't know, I was just curious about it in the beginning, and one time like I used to play with vinyls and things, DJ with vinyls, so I had like a wall in my bag with some vinyls and things like this, and I was like, okay, I don't have anything to do, I'll just, I don't know, record a video, put it in the vinyl on the player, and just playing the music. And I did that by myself to edit it, to see how it is, but just playing. I thought about a post, I don't know, in stories or something like this, but then I said, okay, I'll put it in TikTok, let's see how it is, like just to see. I don't know, I literally don't care about the numbers. But then in 3 days was like 25K, you know, and I didn't have, I have zero followers.
The organic reach is insane.
No, and the video was pretty trash, I have to say.
No. I'm gonna do an example. I created, during the quarantine I had a hamster, and I created a TikTok account for him. And like I had nothing better to do, so I just like post. In one day, that account like got more followers than I ever had in my life in one day. Wow. So like that just showed me, please don't get attached to the numbers, because the most stupid thing.
That's true.
And they are not related with quality.
Not at all.
Not at all. And most of the times people just want to be entertained, and entertaining is not related with quality as well.
Exactly.
Most of the times, I on a Sunday, I don't want to watch a really intellectual movie. I just want to watch Mr. Bean.
It's mine.
Just want the American trashy comedy, the something like this. I don't know, but it's. I mean, but I do think that it's not a. a new thing. Like people consume bad things, people consume bad, trashy stuffs. It seems that humanity is something like this. Entertainment is not always something that it's beautiful for your eyes, but it's beautiful for the entertainment.
Yeah.
So TikTok, Instagram, social media is another way to consume this trash stuff. But if you see back then, like in the 90s and the 80s, you have trash movies, you have trash stuff.
It kept on going.
That is
in
people
different ways.
love.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I would not say that it's just trash things that people want to see.
Yeah,
I would say
yeah.
that it's more things that people don't need to think.
Yeah.
Or
Definitely.
yesterday I was watching a movie with my girlfriend. I don't know if you know. It's Enter the Void.
I've seen parts of it. Like it's amazing.
And it's amazing, but it's not a movie. It's not an easy movie to watch.
No.
Yeah.
POV perspective.
Yeah,
all the
POV
time,
perspective,
like,
and the guy then takes DMT, and then it goes above, and
very trippy. Like,
yeah, it's super trippy. So it's not a easy movie to watch.
Yeah.
So people don't want to watch these movies.
Yeah,
Most of the people, they just want to be entertained.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you want to be entertained, most of the times you don't want to think. Or
You wanna watch a
And
hamster,
social media pushes that to the audience.
do backflips
So,
on it.
like, no matter what you upload, let's say you do pizza reviews. You make 10 pizza review videos, there's one of them that's going to blow up because it's going to deliver that content to people that like pizza, because the algorithm already knows. So I think sometimes, like, let's say surf photography or surf videography. You make consistent surf videography all the time. There's millions of people out in the world that love surf videography. So the algorithm will eventually bring that to your audience, and then you get your followers that way. You know?
That's what that strategy of using, like, you have your art where it's like a big wide screen shot or like a YouTube video, but then you use TikTok as the advertising.
trailers.
Your little
just to
trailers,
tease
yeah.
and to just,
Just
yeah.
tease, but it all links to your YouTube.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a cool way of
definitely
of
like
doing
we,
it. Yeah.
having it like nowadays and
So cool.
all the channels, like just as much as you can, and it makes sense for your exposing your
Yeah,
work. That's the
yeah,
thing. It's totally related to that. Like Instagram is for one thing, TikTok is for another, Vimeo is for another, YouTube is for another. And if we can kind of link them up and do the
Yeah.
work of then
Yeah.
that's really the way to kind of internet wise navigate nowadays. That discipline and learning is a lot in me. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have patience. And not just patience, I think I really don't have, I don't put enough time to learn and to develop myself in towards like promoting, talking myself
So,
into it, because it's demanding. There's a lot to be done to link
Yeah.
all these things and to do a lot of,
Yeah, I must say that's the first. I cannot wait to like afford to employ someone
that is
to do that.
professional.
Because
Yeah.
I actually dislike it thoroughly. Like to fucking
Yeah.
Hashtag, tag,
Yeah.
tag, man. That is
Yeah.
just so
like,
annoying.
and it's time consuming. I'm not good at it. It ends up
Yeah.
taking so
And
much
it's,
time.
yeah, it's proper work. Like you have
It's
to
a
do
science.
it.
It's a science. You
Yeah.
need like you need a I can't wait till I can have my own scientists. Just they have to, you can give them the art, and they help distribute it on all these channels. That's
It's interesting because I kind of see from another, like, as what I like to do. I don't know, I have a good feeling when, for example, like the documentary that I produced, I did the whole marketing stuff and things like this, but like I kind of have a good feeling when I do this by myself, when I search by myself for the best place to do this advertisement. So yeah, for example, I like post the teasers, and like for me it's a very good sensation when I post the first teaser. It's like, okay, finally it's achieving another stage. And then I post the trailer, and like things all in this timeline for me sound kind of special. In this specifically project, I did something more like I glued the posters around Lisbon, like all these things, and more. I did some like small parties to the people who knows me, who actually wants to go to like something like a techno party with showing the video and things like this with more local people, and in the same time was a very nice way to marketing as well, kind of big. And but I don't know, I like this I don't know, I have a good feeling when I do that, but I completely understand how hard it is and like you need to have someone probably to do that because
Tap into the market.
exactly.
It's the time it takes that takes me away from creating. It's like I could be spending 2 hours creating, but I'm now cutting it, making sure it's this right format for this one,
Some SEO stuff.
doing this. And I'm just, it's becoming so complicated, like all these different social medias. Like
It's too much.
you go into Meta, it's like, it's just like all this shit. You like need a fucking tech oak to actually run it properly. Like it's a new language. But I do enjoy, I enjoy the marketing of it. It's just the time it takes.
Yeah, the
to
time
do
that
it.
is spent. And that affects me in some point because after that I have a very big gap of creativity of this big production that I did for like 2 years, and after that I was really stuck in I don't know, in a gap that I don't know what I want to do now, and probably. Now we're speaking about it, I'm realizing probably that helps as well to make this gap of creativity because I was super concentrated in finish, in post, in promote. I mean, I didn't promote as I promote more like something more independent, but at the same time, like you care about this and this is constant from you, and sometimes probably the next time I will try to put some one stuff, but yeah. I'm just realizing now what you say. It makes kind of sense to have this stuff. Yeah.
And I think it's so interesting because like I think we're social media has been here not for that long. So I think like it's interesting we're trying to figure out this because like we're the first generation of artists that need to deal with this platform. And this platform is the like most important tool nowadays to deliver the message, because like at the end of the day we're trying to deliver like the stuff we create, a message, and now like with social media there's a tool to deliver that, and like it's kind of like complicated because there are no like perfect answers, but I think it's really interesting like us trying to elaborate, you know.
And one thing apart in this social media stuff as well, one of my I'd say thesis, or like I don't know, like one of my projects was exactly to explain people, especially in photography, analog photography, how the social media helps and how the social media it's there if you use as a conscience and if you use in the good way, it helps. Like we all of us know that okay. I mean, I'm shooting analog, but what I was saying back then, what I'm supposed to post that, what I'm supposed to show people, and everyone knows that social media it's a platform to show people. Basically,
to have the power to like deliver your content to someone anywhere in the world.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. And if you know how to do that, but in the same time, I completely defend the fact that like I want to show people my work as in paper. I want to show people my work as in the real stuff, to touch that. That's very important for me as well. So it's kind of a very balance. You know, you have to do and try to take advantage from each other and combine both.
You know, one thing that I noticed, I would say 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I just noticed that every time that I post stories on set, it's a time when I get more job offers. If I'm not posting anything on set, most of the times people
don't see that you're active. Like it's a reminder. It helps.
That type of posting is good as well because it's you doing a job.
Yeah.
You just documenting yourself doing the job.
Remembering
so you're not creating that for social. You're just documenting. That's a good way of creating. Like that's
during August, I didn't have any jobs for September, and then I started shooting a long form last week. And during the days of the long form, people were just tagging me on Instagram stories or anything, and I was resharing. So during the long form, I just had 3 jobs for September. And during August, I didn't have nothing.
No. I'm happy to know that it's like that as well.
I don't know if you notice it, but
that's
me.
100%. That's where most of my queries. They see me painting, they see me drawing. They're like, "Girl, it's like, I like that."
Yeah.
And it's not the video that I made like it's not like an edited video. It's literally a pan of like what I'm doing, or like a time lapse of doing the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been talking for an hour and a half already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't even realize. Just like to end, like I really do love like. What do you guys think is like the importance of like being around like-minded individuals, collaborating with people in your area, and like that are also creative and yeah.
I think that's really the key. As I was saying, that's really like more than anything else than just doing and consumption and everything, is really having the right people, getting to experience and connect with people, because that's really, you know, I think, you know, from this meeting, from this podcast, now we know each other's perspectives.
Yeah.
Who knows, there's something that could come out of here this day, you know, and I think at least that's the perspective that I have, like people are the key.
Yeah.
It's all about the network, always.
Yeah, at
always.
least in this area, for
Yeah,
sure, the
For
network.
sure.
With-
network.
Yeah,
is-
collaboration.
And
Yeah.
I think even just this is like so cool. Like we all work in different fields
Yeah.
of like art, which is really sick. And then to be able to like feedback off each other, like what inspires you, how do you deal with that, and stuff like that. It's very been very beneficial for me as
Yeah.
well. Like,
And I think, like,
it's been really great.
That's like again the name of the podcast, Move Me. I've been just for this talk like so inspired and motivated to like do stuff, and I think we were able to understand the creative process, different tools, different one's perspective, and I think like not like because sometimes I feel like creating can be kind of an independent work. What do you want to create? But I think it's also important to collaborating, understanding also other people's perspective. So yeah. So again, thank you very much. This was really fun. It was a pleasure to talk to you guys. And yeah, definitely let's set something up again. And yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Really cool. Awesome.